Ever spent hours at your desk reading like a maniac, highlighting every other sentence, color coding like you're designing a new flag, only to realize a week later the only thing you remember is, oh yeah, that book had a green cover? Yeah, same. For years, I thought I had the memory span of a goldfish. I figured maybe I just wasn't smart enough, or maybe school just wasn't for me. But here's the thing, the problem wasn't my brain, the problem was the way I was learning. And if you're anything like me back then, you're probably making the exact same mistake. Here's what I wish someone told me sooner. Learning has two phases: input, taking stuff in, reading books, watching videos, listening to lectures, podcasts, whatever. Processing, actually doing something with that info, breaking it down, connecting it to what you already know, remembering it, and being able to use it later. Most people live in phase one. They cram in as much as possible. They brag about finishing 400 pages in a weekend, watching YouTube lectures at 2x speed, or listening to a podcast while cooking, showering, and texting at the same time. And then, when it's time to actually use the info, blank. Total mental blue screen. It's not about how much you consume, it's about how much sticks. There's this real guy, Kim Peek, who inspired Dustin Hoffman's character in Rain Man. Kim could read an entire book in minutes, remember every single word, punctuation mark, even the layout of the pages. He could give you detailed driving directions from New York to Paris by ferry, obviously. No GPS, no Wi-Fi. Sounds unbeatable, right? Here's the plot twist. While Kim's memory was superhuman, his ability to analyze, problem solve, or apply knowledge creatively was limited. And that's when it hit me. The goal of learning isn't to become a human photocopier. It's not about remembering everything. It's about remembering the right things and knowing how to use them. So if you've ever been frustrated because you can't remember all 300 pages of a book you've read, don't worry because you're not a robot. But the good news is that you don't need to be a robot to learn well. You just need to learn the right strategy. And rest assured, the next part of this video will show you how to do it in a very systematic and easy to understand way. In fact, each type of knowledge needs to be digested differently. And to make it easier to digest, I'll introduce you to an extremely cool tool, the PACER frame. This is not a running shoe. This is an acronym for 5 techniques for processing information effectively. PACER stands for P, Procedural, skills, step-by-step actions. A, Associative, links, analogies, connections. C, Conceptual, principles, mental models. E, Episodic, in stories, experiences. R, Reflexive, automatic habits. Think of it as the Google Drive folders of your brain. Put stuff in the wrong folder and good luck finding it later. P, Procedural. You learn it by doing it. When I first tried to learn touch typing, I did the dumbest thing possible. I read about it. Articles about finger placement, posture, all that. A week later, I was still poking the keyboard with 2 fingers like a confused pigeon. Then I switched it up. I downloaded a typing app, practiced 15 minutes a day. First week, total disaster. Typos everywhere. But after 2 weeks, my hands were flying without me thinking about it. That's procedural learning. You can't master cooking by watching the Food Network or learn guitar by scrolling Instagram tabs. You have to do it, mess up, burn the first pancake, hit the wrong chord, then try again. A, Associative. Link it or lose it. I used to hate memorizing history dates. Then one teacher gave me the weirdest tip. Turn every date into a relatable story. Treaty of Versailles? Imagine it as a messy breakup contract. The winner keeps the Netflix password. The loser is banned from texting after 9 p.m. Sounds dumb, but now I never forget it was 1919. Your brain loves connections. Learning photosynthesis? Picture a bunch of plants taking selfies with the sun. The stranger or funnier the connection, the longer it sticks. C, Conceptual. Don't just know it, get it. I once memorized Newton's second law, F equals ma, by writing it over and over, but I still got problems wrong because I didn't actually understand it. Then my teacher pushed a bike with no one on it, easy. Then with a kid sitting on the back, way harder. Mass goes up, you need more force, he said. Boom, understood forever. Conceptual learning is about the why and how. Once you get it, you can adapt it, debate it, even break it apart. Episodic. What's emotional sticks around? I'll never forget the time I got called up to solve a math problem on the board and froze. My face was red, my hands sweaty, the room felt like an oven. That memory is burned in forever. That's episodic memory, tied to moments, emotions, and context. If you want knowledge to stick, wrap it in a story. When I taught high school students about smoking dangers, I didn't throw stats at them. I told them about a real guy who lost his voice and family. Weeks later, they could still retell the story in detail. Facts fade, stories stay apart. Reflexive. Train until you don't have to think. Basketball players don't calculate angles mid-game. They practice shots thousands of times so that when the game is on, their body just does it. Reflexive learning is making a skill automatic. Writing professional emails, acing interview answers, playing an instrument, all can be trained to the point you don't have to think. The bonus? Once it's reflexive, your brain is free to focus on the creative, strategic, or unexpected stuff. Learning is like hitting a buffet. You don't load your plate with only shrimp and you don't grab every dish at once. If you only practice skills, procedural, without understanding the principles, conceptual, you'll choke when something changes. If you only understand concepts but never practice, you'll fumble when it's time to act. Balance means mixing your learning dishes at the right time, in the right amounts. Read or watch for input, practice for procedural and reflexive, connect for associative, explain, debate for conceptual, tell stories for episodic. You don't need to turn into a walking Wikipedia. You need a brain that knows what to keep, knows how to keep it, knows how to use it. Procedural, do it. Associative, link it. Conceptual, dig into the why. Episodic, wrap it in a story. Reflexive, drill it until it's second nature. Smart learners don't just eat information. They digest it. PACER is how you do that.